This is an amazing film. The animation's beautiful, and it's almost like a mixture of styles. Can you talk to me about the approach to the film to kind of give Santa Claus an origin story in this?
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, that was the conceit for the movie that I. First of all, let me just say this: I heard about this movie, and a movie where the main character is maybe a postman. You don't see a lot of postal service films these days. That to me was pretty exciting. I was like, okay, postal service film, let's do it.
Oh, you're in.
I'm in. I do love writing letters. I don't do it, but I do love it. But anyhow, but then when I read the script, I loved that there was an origin story to the process of gift giving,
right?
And but it was so practical. That's kind of what I thought was the best thing about it, was that it didn't come originally from love or magic. It came from this greedy person trying to get a certain amount of letters written so he could leave this area.
Right.
You know, and I love that. But from that came so much warmth and love that it actually ended up changing him. And so really, to me, it's the origin story of just communicating with people you don't know.
Absolutely.
And that's like for me the big takeaway. It's like, why are we fighting? We don't even know each other. Let's talk. Let's understand. And writing letters, I think, you know, it's a metaphor, but it's also a real thing. It's, you know, communicate, learn, write, connect. And I think it's a powerful thing.
Now, I read that the director said that over half of your lines were improvised. Why was that approach taken in Jesper?
I'm not aware of those numbers, and I can't confirm those numbers. No, first of all, I can't say 50% of the character was his lines were improvised. There was a script that was written, and but Sergio, he's from Spain, and he did say early on, some of the lines that are in here, I'm not quite sure the best way to say it.
Sure.
And so built into the making of it was a kind of search party aspect, and kind of figuring out the correct voice for Jesper, and you know, just his sense of talking and stuff. That said, I will say, when you are making something that's animated over the course of many, many years, I think one of the fun things about it and the liberating thing about it is it's really, you know, at most 4 or 5 people doing it. And that is still, you know, people's time is valuable, and the recording studio time is valuable. But if you're doing a live action thing, by and large, it's going to be a bigger group of people with more equipment, and it's just a bigger production just in general, even at its smallest.
Right.
And I do feel that if, like, someone like acting, you know, you're much more focused on getting exactly what was written, achieving it, and moving on.
Right.
You know, but in this case, for instance, if you've done a bunch of versions of the line and they say, can we just try it now, you know, where I say everything backwards or whatever. I mean, it's less nerve-wracking to ask that question out loud, because you're not asking a bunch of people to sit around and indulge you while you mess around. It's experimental in a way that I love. Like, you can kind of get things, say the lines a bunch of different times and get it out and kind of get them, you know, you can start playing with them more.
Right.
So maybe some of those lines might have entered the movie, but you know, for the most part, I was just reading the script, and then often not reading it right, and then they thought I was improvising.
Well, I actually thought it was really brilliant the way they kind of weave Jesper's story into the creation and influence of Santa Claus. Yeah. I think it's brilliant. Congratulations on the film. It's a lot of fun. And it's beautiful to look at.
I know. Sergio's such an incredible artist, and I remember I was meeting with him about the movie for the first time, and I asked him a question about a scene, and he said, well, you know, Jesper, here, and he like took out a sketchbook and a pencil, and then he just drew the scene, like quickly sketched it right before my eyes, and he answered it that way. And that was a beautiful thing, and it was a beautiful drawing. And I thought, this is the person you want to be making a movie with.